Coming to college can be a daunting experience for anyone. William & Mary provides multiple programs that assist students with the transition to college. In the second edition of Flat Hat's admission series, we talk to STEP, or the Students Transition and Engagements Program, to talk about how William & Mary helps new students adjust to life on campus.
Could you tell us a little bit about the history of STEP and what led to its creation?
So STEP, or Student Transition Engagement Programs, actually came to fruition only about 2.5, 3 years ago. And it was an outcropping of the Office of First Year Experience, which was founded about a decade ago when Vice President Ambler came in to her role within the Division of Student Affairs. It was decided that we needed to take all of the goodness that was happening within the new student experience and find a place to sort of hub it. And so First Year Experience came in. That was our task, to really sort of be that central piece to that wheel so that all incoming students would know about opportunities, resources, services that would be available to them, not just during orientation, but throughout the course of their first year.
What are some of the things that STEP does to make incoming students feel welcome?
The Tribe Guide, or the Tribe Guide Checklist, which a lot of upper level students have experienced, which has been a long-standing piece of that new student onboarding process, exists purely so that students and their families understand what's being expected of them prior to their campus arrival, especially because for us, orientation doesn't happen until just before the start of classes. And so there are a lot of questions about what should I be doing, what could I be doing? And so the Tribe Guide Checklist hopefully assuages some of those fears, but also helps students put together a summer schedule where they can still have fun, spend time with friends, work that summer job, go on vacations, and do what they need to do or do what they want to do in order to feel like they've fully experienced that wrap up to K-12 and are prepared to move on to university life. We also partner with parent and family programs and our colleagues in Parent and Family Giving to host new student and family welcome events, some in person, some over Zoom. So these welcome events allow us to sort of set the stage for current expectations and current university life, which is really exciting. And then we do a series of student meetups over the summer, and those are obviously virtual. We'd love to bring everybody to campus early, but that's not necessarily feasible. But through virtual meetups, we actually pull together and invite students based off of self-reflected affinity groups or identity statuses. And so one of the things that incoming students complete during the Tribe Guide Checklist is their new student inventory. And the new student inventory allows students to share with us in a private space some of their concerns about joining campus, maybe some of their interests in what they want to do while they're here. And we'll use that information and provide opportunities for students sort of with similar questions or concerns or interest to come together virtually to start making those friend circles. And we'll partner with appropriate offices and student orgs to help expand some of those peer networks as well before students even come on campus.
And you mentioned some of the events that STEP helps organize, but do you have any personal favorites?
My personal favorite is Convocation. So Convocation is technically, we like to think, is the wrap up to orientation because it's probably the last big event that incoming students complete with their orientation groups and with their OAs present and of course their resident assistants. And Convocation happens that first day of classes, and it's the official welcome in a sense for new students into our community. So whether you're joining us as a first-time college freshman, a transfer student, an exchange student, maybe you're in the second year of the joint degree program with St. Andrews, or you're even a graduate student, you're welcome, and hopefully you feel welcomed when you cross through the Wren building and you exit through the piazza and you see all of those people cheering for you, and hopefully it just feels like you found your place and you found your people. The primary goal for orientation, right, is we want you to meet people. And meeting people can be very stressful, especially when you're in a new environment. Orientation also wants to make sure that you're introduced to resources and services, which can be very stressful, especially if you're now being asked to think through what could happen, what might happen. My biggest advice when students hear that it's stressful is to remind yourself that orientation is simply your introduction. You don't have to accomplish everything that orientation introduces to you during the course of those 4 to 5 days. There's no expectation, although there is that, I think, personal hope that we meet our best friends, right? Like there's the magical moment that we see in the movies where you move into your residence hall and you think, oh, I've met my best friend for life and we're gonna go on vacations and trips. And that may happen for you. And we hear about students who have those long-lasting relationships with their freshman hallmates or with club and org members, and those are terrific. I myself experienced some of that. And so I know from a personal space though, it took a little while sometimes to make those friendships. And so giving yourself some grace, giving yourself an opportunity to try new things and not feeling like you need to accomplish it all within those first 4 to 5 days is really important.
And how does STEP ensure to support a student body with a diverse background, varying levels of income, ethnicity, and nationality?
Yeah, I think some of that starts with the Tribe Guide checklist, is making sure we're being transparent about expectations. We also collaborate a lot with campus offices and student organizations that we know will be long-term supports for some of our students. And so we do our best during not just the Tribe Guide checklist offerings, but also during orientation to make those introductions. And for some of our students, orientation is the time where they make some of those connections with students who may be like-minded or might be coming from a similar background. And for others, they may need to wait a few weeks before they make those connections, but ultimately they'll harken back to that orientation experience and say, oh, I think I met you at, or I remember having a conversation with someone about. And that's really what we're hoping to establish during the course of those onboarding orientation moments, is at least exposure to opportunities, resources, and services.
So what would you tell a student who has some worries about fitting in and acclimating to a new college environment?
It doesn't help if I say that it's normal, right? That's not helpful. However, as we were building out STEP and as we were thinking about our transition series, there's a reason why we called the first year of our transition series Finding Your Experience, because it takes everyone a little bit of time to find and figure out what their William & Mary could look like. And that's unique to everyone. There's no typical William & Mary person. And that's true on some level. However, it's also true that every William & Mary student wants to make a difference. They want to find an area of passion. They want to find people that energize them and that affirm them and that align with their own value sets, right? And it sometimes takes a little bit of time to find that. So I would tell you that yes, finding friends, adjusting to campus, it's a pretty quote normal thing for students to experience. However, it's an experience that I think you can lean on your friends and your hallmates and your classmates to go through together, because everyone is just trying to figure out this place and no one has it completely figured out, even though they may act like it. I want to encourage our incoming students not to feel pressured to be someone that someone else wants you to be, but to be yourself and to let yourself take the road less traveled sometimes. And that might mean trying a different club. That might mean not doing anything at William & Mary that you did during high school or at a previous institution. It might mean that you study abroad and you learn a language that you never thought that you would have interest in. But ultimately want to give yourself grace to really explore who you are and the difference you can